All right, welcome to another episode of Political Gurus, where we give you a deep and truthful, whether you like it or not, insight of what's going on. Today, we're going to focus on Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's doubling down against AIPAC, and whether you like her or not, because a lot of Democrats are saying, "Oh, she's not sincere." It doesn't matter whether she's sincere or not. The only mainstream politician in America, maybe even in the Western world, when we being France and Britain, that's saying that what's going on in Israel is an outright what Israel is doing is an outright genocide. And she's saying that it should be illegal to collect funding from AIPAC, that AIPAC should be considered a foreign lobby rather than an American lobby. Whether you like it or not, she's got some guts. And if she's saying that, then that means that her political angle is that she's catering to her base, which makes her a populist. So what that means is that the temperature in America, if she can come out and say this boldly, it means she has some data which shows that truly the far right in America, at least the far right, because I don't know what's going on with the left, they are tired of this war. So I'm going to play something that she said so you can hear her quotes directly.
Absolutely furious. And as a matter of fact, AIPAC needs to register as a foreign lobbyist because they're breaking U.S. laws by donating to members of Congress and by taking them on a fully funded trip to Israel every single freshman member of Congress this year. They just took them over just recently and had them meet with the Prime Minister of Israel. But let's frame that correctly. They take them over to meet with the secular government of nuclear-armed Israel. Israel, who is in less than $400 billion in debt. Israel, who has taxpayer-funded health care in college. Israel is not hurting, and they've already proven that they are more than capable of not only defending themselves, but annihilating their enemies to the point of genocide. And that's what's happening in Gaza. And Matt, the reason why AIPAC is attacking me is because I dared to tell the truth. As a matter of fact, I've been saying America first for a long time, but I'm getting to the point of saying America only. And I'll tell you why, Matt. It's because pretty much if you're under the age of 40, you have no hope for the future. We're $37 trillion in debt. People can't afford to buy a house. They can't afford rent. They can't afford insurance. They can't afford their bills. And we have HB1 visas stealing all these American jobs. And I'm sick and tired and fed up with it. But listen, if AIPAC wants to come after me and accuse me of betraying my American values, AIPAC, you know what? You can bring it on. I am totally ready for this. And this is a fight that I will fight and I will give it my all. And I can guarantee you, you're going to lose because America is fed up, Matt. They're fed up to here with funding foreign wars, funding foreign causes, funding foreign countries for foreign reasons that have nothing to do with Americans, while Americans work their ass off every day and pay their taxes and come home and they're living paycheck to paycheck and their credit cards are maxed out. I don't care anymore. I honestly don't care. So I'll burn this bridge to the ground and I will let the flames light the way. And because this is a fight that needs to happen.
Finish. I don't care what any liberals will be like. Oh, she's a racist far right. She's not sincere. From what I heard, she could be racist, she could be far right, but she's definitely against spending money for a genocide which does not benefit America. What are your thoughts on what she said, Kunle? Yeah.
That is a real human being, warts and all. And
Yes.
she needs to be supported. She needs to go down the rabbit hole. She is beginning to find out truths that she did not know before were truths.
Yeah.
The more truths are revealed to her, the more of a better person that she will become and start questioning all the things that she thought she held dear. And it is a beginning of a pushback from humanity, because the spectrum from which it's coming, which is the far right, you would never believe that the first voice of morality and humanity would come from the far right in America.
Absolutely.
It's supposed to come from the far left. But it is beginning to show that the far right was simply there as an opposition to a facade that was created by the far left, which is disintegrating. because no matter how biased you are still a human being. Marjorie
Yeah.
Taylor, for all her faults and all her criticisms, is a human being. And as a human being, she has basic values, and she can see that these basic values are being abused in such a way that are indefensible to the reasons why she believes in the values that she believes. They challenge her values.
Yes.
And she represents a much larger volume of people. She is far more dangerous than one person. You can do whatever you want with Marjorie Taylor Greene. You can destroy her, discredit her, but she is a voice for a lot of people, and they have already come together. It is too late. You do not disperse the flock by destroying this sheep, because already this sheep has other cells. And I
Mm-hmm.
assure you, because America has had an isolationist policy that goes back as far as World War II. And when we looked
Yes.
at that, it was demonized at the time because we saw it as being wrong. We did not know what was going on. But now we're beginning to understand. I'm not saying that it was right what happened to the Jews in 1940.
No.
It was not right. But we're beginning to see what happened in Weimar, Germany. They were being treated exactly like the American people. And when they revolted and retaliated against it, they took it beyond the extent of morality. So,
Yes.
as much as we need to address what Israel is going to do now, we need to stay within the bounds of morality. We cannot become the monsters that they have become by doing back to them what they have done to others.
Yes. So,
Because
so all we do then, like what my tells us, the way
bad
we
as
need
them.
to address Israel is one thing, two things. This is what needs to be done to Israel. From her
Yeah.
perspective, cut funding. She said it. They don't need American money anymore. Cut funding totally. She probably won't go as far as what I'm going to say next. They need to have trade embargo on Israel until this shit ends and Palestine is a sovereign country. I'll take it back to you now. Yeah.
Yes, correct. You cannot use force in this kind of issue in order to fight morality. You cannot
No.
use power for power. You have to explain to these people with strength that if you do not conform to the world humanity views, then you will not be part of the world community. We won't fight you. We don't have to destroy you. We are just going to turn our backs on you until you start behaving like human fucking beings.
Yeah. And can I add one more other
What
point?
the world
Now
used to do.
imagine when 'cause to me, it's females who care more about the world than anybody because they're mothers and they have children. Imagine Kamala Harris had come out. Kamala Harris came out and said, Israel has my ironclad support. Imagine she had come out and said the same thing Marjorie Taylor Greene did. She might be sitting in the White House today. What are your thoughts? Yeah.
Harris was the most disingenuous and fake, and her protege before her, Obama, that appeared as hope, also appeared to be another fake. Ultimately, both of these people are what I will call house Negroes,
Yeah.
parade themselves as being the alternative to the far right, but they are not the alternative to the far right. And Marjorie has shown that these absurdities that call themselves alternatives to the far right are, in fact, simply caricatures and creations. And they
Okay.
have nothing to do with socialism or the left or the
Wait, can I say
alternative
something?
or anything
Can I
that
say
is
something? So I'm going to use another word. I'm going to say Marjorie Taylor is right, far right, but she's not extreme right. So let's look at it. By purest definition, right wing is not bad. What right wing means is traditional values, culture. Now, it might be have a little bit of a problem where they're against open things like abortion or sexual preference, but where its extent is not supposed to be racism. It's more of a traditional values, agriculture, conservatism rather than big cities and liberal ideas. Whether you like that or not is whatever. But far right does not necessarily mean fascist. The extreme of far right is fascism. Also, the extreme of far left is fascism too, because the Bolsheviks were far left. But when you take it to the level of Stalin or maybe even Lenin, it becomes fascist. So fascist is not far right or far left. Fascist is when there's too much extreme of one ideology to the point where it overrides people's values. So what I want to say is that right in itself is not a bad word, but when it goes too far, it becomes bad. What is your thought, Kunle? Yeah.
Yeah, But there's another problem with the Western society in respect of this, which is that what Marjorie Taylor has to deal with is also the religion, because
Yeah,
there's this belief in the Middle Belt in the Midwest
yeah,
that they are
and that
doing
comes under
something.
the right being culture and identity. So far right in American way would be sticking to Christianity over everything else to the point of a bias. You're right, but sorry, continue. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So this movement towards the culture of God actually is in defiance of the Old Testament, but they just believe, oh, it's Christian. So although the values that these Midwestern religious people do to justify the actions of Israel they are in conflict with the New Testament, but they are in consonance with the Old Testament. And that's what some of these people use, because there is still another battle going on between old school Midwest Christian Middle Belt Americans, who tend to be the base that supports far right wing politics, which is also where Zionism has tried to cement itself, despite being the contrary to it. In the 1940s, Zionism was part of the brown and the despicable, and
yeah,
it has somehow managed to find itself to become the darling of the far right. And we wonder whether, had we been propagandized into misunderstanding what that was all about, because in those days everyone was racist, whether you're left or right wing. It had nothing
yeah,
to do with racism, but they put the
yeah,
racism thing
yeah.
on the far right. But
And
the
actually,
left
and
also
what you're
had,
pointing down to is that right and left actually has nothing to do with race or anything. It has to do with how your country is economically planned. So people in the right tend to be against socialism, and people and are more with agrarianism, which to me is actually a form of socialism. People on the left are more like sort of like it's a communalism, but it's a lot more in the name of the state. Yeah, I'm getting confused with this the way I want to phrase it, but basically, right wing believe that the market should be sort of free to work itself out, and left wing thinks it needs to be seriously controlled by the government, and it needs to be welfare and things like that. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so it does appear that racism was used as a distraction,
yeah,
because when you look at the history of the past, it didn't matter whether you were socialist or capitalist, you were both racist. But we
yeah.
somehow to label the far right with racism. And because of that, when people decided to be racist, they called themselves the far right. But it is beginning to appear to me that it didn't actually have to do with race.
Yeah.
It has had to do,
It has more to do with
always
and
had,
class. That's the right word. It has to do with class more than anything. Yeah.
yes, money and power. It has always had to do with that.
It's just that in America, race is a big issue, and like you said, they tend to
Race,
blame. So,
religion,
so let me add
sexuality,
one more thing. Sorry to cut
every
it time, but we have time limits. Yeah.
yes.
So let's go back to one thing you were saying. So Marjorie Taylor Greene in the past, she also voted against because this goes to her biblical roots. They wanted to pass a law that if you say the Jews killed Christ, that's anti-Semitism, and she said she refused to do that because it's written in the Bible, and that's the authority that she goes to. So that shows you that her religion is more important to her than any Zionist agenda with AIPAC. You get my point. She said that she's not going to define anything, and we all have different things. Like if I say I'm I'm not a biblical person, but I'll say from the river to the sea, and they'll tell me that's anti-Semitic. No, I'm going to keep saying it because all I'm saying is that Palestine should be free from what is it, from the mountain to the sea or whatever. It should be free. That's not anti-Semitic. And saying that the Jewish people killed Christ, if it is indeed historically true, then it's just a fact. It's not anti-Semitism. It's just saying that they killed Christ. It's like as if a white person said that the Igbos killed the Yorubas killed Ken Saro-Wiwa. That's not anti-Yoruba. It's just saying a fact about Yoruba people, which may be true or not. So saying that Jewish people kill Christ is not hating against Jewish people. It's just saying what the Bible says or what even history says. What do you think, Kunle? Yeah.
But if they're going to tell black people that they should get over slavery because it happened 400 years or 150 years ago, then I'm
Yeah.
not going to give Jewish people the excuse of anything because of something that happened 2,000 years ago. I'm sorry, it doesn't work out like that. If you say we can't complain about injustices of 150 years ago that affect us now, then you can't go and say because you owned some land 3,000 years ago. But we, our 150 years, we can't talk. But with your 2,000 years, you want to come and claim that you are a
Yeah,
victim.
but let's look at the land. I hate to get biblical. Abraham was from Ur. He wasn't even an Israelite. He was from Ur,
Uh-huh.
and
Yes,
he stole
so
some land. He stole some land from somebody else through chicory. Should we go back to before that also? You get my point. Come
if
on, man.
they claim rights from 3,000 years ago, then we should claim full reparations.
What about Native Americans?
Slavery
Native
that on-
Americans is not even up
yeah,
to 300 years. It's
yeah,
only been
more recent than when you own that land. So if
yeah,
you want to do it like that, you are still talking utter nonsense. Okay,
yeah,
fine. You have no right to reparations. Then you have no right of return because of 3,000 years ago. I don't mind
yeah.
sacrificing one for the other, even though your own is 10 times more ridiculous than mine.
Yeah. All right. So we're
Yeah,
going to continue this because we're running a little bit out of time. Are you able to come this evening? We're going to talk about Nigeria with Boko Haram and all this crap with Afolabi and them. If you can make it, we're doing it at I think we're doing it at 6. I don't know if you're available. Yeah.
I'm always available. The only thing is I'm doing work in my house and I've been drinking.
Oh, no problem. I'll still send you a link. All right. Take us out with any last words. Last words on Marjorie Taylor Greene. But that was a fire statement by Taylor Greene. Last thoughts on her. Yeah.
Yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene has become the darling of the world of humanity.
And she's blonde and cute too. Blonde and cute.
She of her political views. There are people that I will tell Marjorie Taylor Greene, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. She recognizes humanity. So for all whatever perceived real or fake faults I have against her, she is a human being. She has seen humanity and she shares a view of humanity with myself, regardless of every other difference that we may have on laws or etc. or America to America, Nigeria to Nigeria, etc. That is all irrelevant. Thank you, Marjorie, for being a human being. Please, more grease to your elbow. Push for humanity. America first, because America first ultimately means the world and humanity first.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I bid you adieu, and we'll see you on the next.
Adieu, adieu, adieu. All right, nice one though. That was a nice one. You look like you were listening to the blues when she was talking. You know where people shake their head with blues music or in church. All right.